There are quite a lot of people who were surprised, given that people understand the penalty for an attempt to avert the cause of justice is 5 years, and a penalty for abuse of office is 10 years. There was some expectation that a custodial sentence would be handed down today, or at least a suspended sentence. No one expected for Magistrate Lice Movono to hand the lowest possible penalty that can be given to someone convicted of a crime in this country. However, with that being said, she had all but indicated where her sentence may lie at the mitigation hearing, which happened a week ago today. The Magistrate Lice Movono had indicated where she was going, and so some of us were not too surprised with the outcome today, Yvonne.
Can you give us a bit more of the background? What was the original conviction related to?
In 2019, senior finance officials at the University of the South Pacific, which is headquartered here in Suva, had filed a complaint with the Criminal Investigations Department of the Fiji Police Force. Now, there are allegations that very senior members of the university's faculty, as well as governing body, had mismanaged or spent millions of dollars of funds at the USP. Now, the USP is a crop agency, meaning it is owned by the Pacific Islands Forum, of which Australia is also a member. What is purported to have happened is that both the Prime Minister at the time, Frank Bainimarama, and the man who was Police Commissioner at the time, Sitiveni Ngiliho, had issued directives for that ongoing investigation to stop. So Commissioner Ngiliho, who is still on suspension, was charged with abuse of office, and for his part, Frank Bainimarama was charged with an attempt to avert the cause of justice.
Now, Lice, I understand there were many supporters outside courts celebrating with the former Prime Minister in Suva today. What did Mr Bainimarama have to say to them?
Mr. Bainimarama is a very popular man in Fiji. He polled higher than any other candidate, and substantially so over the last 3 general elections. And so he's still a very popular man in Fiji, despite having resigned his position in the parliament and also his position within the party. He remains a very popular figure in Fijian politics. And so whenever he came to court, there would be crowds. Today, there was at least 200 people, relatives and people from his province, coming to give their well wishes. So when he was given the absolute discharge on his conviction, there were emotional people crying with joy, people hugging him around the parliament and judiciary complexes, celebrating openly, calling him their prime minister as he came out today. And to them, he spoke mostly of gratitude and thanking his supporters for coming far and wide to be with him throughout what has been a year and a half almost of this trial.
So what happens from here then?
Well, today, almost immediately after the sentence was handed down, state prosecutors indicated they would make an appeal, and that happened around 2 o'clock local time this afternoon. However, Yvonne, just before I came online tonight to speak with you, we got word from within the judiciary that a NOA notice has been issued by the High Court. What that means is that all of the parties involved in this case have been notified of the High Court's intention to hear this case as a matter of priority. We understand that it will be called first thing on Wednesday as people return from the Easter holidays.
Now, Lice, moving on to another matter. This week, Fiji's Prime Minister, Sitiveni Ngiliho, revealed he had ordered Chinese police out of the country. This came from an interview you did with the Prime Minister. What did he say about Chinese influence in the country?
Well, he did say that it's something that he is anxious about. He indicated that the Chinese government and that China has itself been for generations an important partner to Fiji. There is a very large Chinese community here, and he spoke about our historical links. However, with regards to the current geopolitical competition for influence in the Pacific, Sitiveni Ngiliho indicated that the Chinese have never left Fiji Fiji's side, I think, are the words that he used. He indicated that in the past upheavals and political instability, some of which Sitiveni Rambuka instigated while his Western allies had turned their back on him, he said the Chinese didn't. And right now it's very important to Sitiveni Rambuka, given that they're nearing the middle of their first term in office. The most important thing, one of the most important things for him at the moment is our infrastructure. We do have, Yvonne, a lot of troubles with infrastructure. In fact, today is day 3 of children not being at school because there's no water all across the Central Eastern Division where the capital is. Our public health infrastructure is deteriorating, and there is a lot of outcry from people. And so Mr. Tiveni Rabuka indicated that with the Chinese, there's a possibility of funding for critical infrastructure. However, he makes it very clear the differences between democratic styles of governance that Fiji follows and has a link to the West with, and he indicates that the communist way of working is different, he calls it. And he says he doesn't want his grandchildren growing up in a foreign way that is too different from the way we operate here. So while he calls them a friend, he makes sure to know that he's friends with everyone and enemies to none, but there are some friends he keeps close.
So what's expected to happen next with the Chinese police agreement with Fiji?
Well, what's happened now is that Home Affairs Minister Pierre Tikundundua has returned from China in recent months to personally communicate to the Chinese government Fiji's intention of continuing with this policing agreement. Now, it is a decade-old, Yvonne, and so the agreement has not changed much. But what we understand from senior sources within the Home Affairs Ministry is that there are amendments to ensure that there is a review process that Fiji can activate every 6 months, either here or in Beijing. And when asked, when this source was asked what sort of reviews, they say reviews that protect the sovereignty of Fiji. So there is every indication that while they are happy to receive Chinese support in the area of policing and security, they are taking measures to ensure the protection of our police force. However, what we do know is that right now there are no Chinese officials embedded within the Fiji police force. But it's so important, Yvonne, to note that that part of the agreement has not changed. So if it wanted to, the Fijian government could invite Chinese police officers to work with police officers in Fiji here.
Lice Movono, thank you for updating us.
Vinaka, Yvonne.